I'm Hali Oduor. I'm a content creator and I'm a millennial on the move. I'm a content creator from Nairobi, Kenya, and I've been doing this for maybe 4 years now. I also work for a fashion brand as well as the marketing manager and the head of creation there. When working as a content creator, there's so many things, so many different hats that you have to wear every day, as well as my kind of 9-to-5 job as well in the fashion industry. So every day looks a little different, from mornings where you're traveling to shoot a campaign somewhere around the country, or a boring day at home where it's behind the computer, you're in your PJs but making things happen behind the scenes. So every day looks a little different, but it keeps it really exciting.
Starting off with the gel cleanser to keep my skin clean.
My morning routine consists of probably getting up around 7 most days. I'll have breakfast. I'll usually have breakfast with my mom and have a coffee, chat before the day, and then start my meetings around 9. And most of the days it's Zoom meetings and working with the team at Hikaya to come up with different concepts and marketing concepts. And then I'll kind of put on my content creator hat in the afternoon. And that's when I'll decide on concepts for my page, reach out to brands, kind of do the admin stuff. And then often I'll shoot whenever I have a trip, I'll bulk shoot for the rest of the month, and I'm able then to post that content throughout the month. Yeah, breakfast with my mom, and we just discuss everything from what happened the day before, what's going on the next day. I bounce off ideas off of her and ask her what she thinks, maybe show her something that I've shot or something that I've designed, and then, it's just fun, just having coffee with mom. I love the freedom that content creation brings and that the opportunities it's given me. It isn't a career that you kind of choose and decide, but more so it's becoming something now. But you're just able to, if you have an idea, you can execute it. You have lots of people around you that you can reach out to. There's so many other creatives who are doing different things, so you reach out to them, and then you're able to come up with this concept. And then the ability to travel, it's given me opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had if I wasn't in this line. So being able to experience the country, for all its beauty has been incredible. I think the piece of content that I'm the most proud of is the campaign video that I shot for my second collection, clothing collection with Hikaya, and that was up in Laikipia. I remember emailing to ask for the opportunity because it was such a beautiful lodge that I'd always looked at, and I was so nervous to email and ask if I'd be able to shoot my next campaign there. And they said yes, and kind of went with my team. We'd been planning for so long how we were going to execute this. And over 3 or 4 days, we were able to create this magical video that I think showcased the clothing really beautifully, as well as the landscape and highlighting bits of the work that they do there in the video. So that, I still think, is the piece of content that I'm the most proud of today. So for building a team, it's really just been through Instagram that I've been able to connect with various different creators. That's how I met the videographer that I work so closely with. I saw a video that he'd done. It was like a drone shot over a tennis court, and I remember messaging him, like, wow, this is really cool, how can we work together? And the photographer as well, we met, connected through Instagram and through mutual friends. And then both, all of us are able to bring the different parts of our creativity together and then create one piece of content that we're all really proud of. But, managing, they're all become friends because you do travel together, so you have to be very close. And then through that, because you're all doing something that you love, you can then, everybody's just happy with how it turns out because everybody's expressing themselves and their passion, and you can see everybody's input in the final project. You started off content creation as it being for me at least, it was a creative outlet. So it was something that you were doing, I started when I was in university, so it was something that I was doing outside of class. But then when it becomes full-time, it really becomes difficult to keep up with the creativity. And then you have these, you have an audience. For me, it's an audience on Instagram, and you kind of feel like you have to keep up. So you're constantly searching for the next, creative picture that you're gonna take or really cool video. So it gets tiring sometimes, and then you end up being in a rut. Sometimes you don't post as much. So there are times where you're just like, okay, or you see other people. There's a lot of comparison that you do, and you see other people creating this, that, or they're, somewhere cool and you're at home. So it ends up being, there are days where you feel like, oh my goodness, why did I choose this path? This was supposed to be fun. But because it is work, there are times where it can be difficult to do it every day. Again, just being creative and being a space where you can express yourself, you can shine light on things that because you have the platform, you're able to shine light on all these different projects. And just knowing that it's you and your passion that got you here, so you just have to keep pushing, and other opportunities are waiting as you go along. I don't think I kind of pictured where I would be now, but I definitely had the idea that I wanted to be in the fashion world. Growing up, I had a few friends, neighborhood friends, and when you're younger and you play those pretend games, and some people are mamas, some people are dadas, but we had like a little office, and we would sit there and design, and somebody would be on the phone, and you're handling little fashion campaigns, and we'd have fashion shows. So that is always something that I was passionate about and something I knew I wanted to do. And from a young age, the university I went to, I was like, this is where I want to go. I only applied to 2 universities which are in the fashion world, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And when I did get into uni, I didn't really love the fashion world per se. It was overwhelming. I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to do, but somehow the way life turned out, I ended back, in that space and doing it here in a place where the fashion industry is growing, the creative industry is growing, so you get to be at the forefront of, the next steps, which is really exciting. It was actually COVID that kind of brought back this job and creating. So I'd gone to fashion school, come back just before COVID, and I was starting off my content creation journey in Nairobi because I initially had started it when I was in New York. And Hikaya, which is the brand I work for now, approached me and they said, hey, what do you think of working with us? So they'd send me a few pieces here and there, and I'd take some photos on my travels. And then just at the beginning of 2020, they asked, would you like to come up with a collection? Which is something I never thought I would get to do, but I was able to. So then I got back and started designing, and then ended back in the fashion world. Oh, my parents, yeah. So my parents' reaction wasn't as you would imagine. My mom is a creative herself, so she was really supportive in helping me navigate. But she was a little cautious because she's like, we've sent you to school. If this is what you want to do, like, are you sure you want to do it? But if you do go ahead and do it with all your heart and put all your effort into it. My dad, on the other hand, he comes, from a finance, very traditional background. So he was a bit like, this doesn't make sense. And he's still coming around to it now, but he's really supportive. And they love, they've been a part and they've seen every part of my journey and seen, my dad initially thought that content creation and the fashion world was all just about, waking up and taking a picture and that was it. And he's like, that's not really a job. But seeing the effort that goes into it, the different hats that you have to wear when you are a content creator, you are a whole entity in yourself. You have to be a lawyer. You have to be, when you're reading through your contracts, that you have to put that hat on. You're your own finance team, just, budgeting. Okay, this is how much I'll use for a videographer. This is how much I'll use for wardrobe. This is how much I'll be saving and taking home. And then managing the communications with your clients, your meetings. So like you have to, it's an all-encompassing role. But they've been really supportive through the journey and they're always there cheering me on. I think parent support and just having that approval from your mom or dad really kind of pushes you that extra mile. Just knowing that they love you, they're in your corner, and your parents are kind of the ones who are cheering you on with their full heart. There are other people who will cheer you on but kind of want to see your downfall, but they're there to love you. So having that support, I don't know where I'd be without the support of my parents and them, enabling me when you're feeling a little low and they're like, no, see, you did that before, you can do it again and you can do it even better. One of my greatest career highlights was when I got to marry my love for fashion and marketing together, but I'll tell you more of that after the break. Make sure you don't touch that dial. Welcome back. As I told you before, one of my biggest career highlights was when I got to marry my love for fashion and my marketing background together. And that's when I was able to co-create my collection with Hikaya, which we first released in the middle of the pandemic, so 2020 July. We had to shoot it in my backyard, and the trend then was like putting up bed sheets and with flowers and whatnot, and we tried our best with, and I had all my childhood friends that I used to, play those pretend games with, and they got to be there surrounding me and a part of the video, and that was the first time I was able to see the impact or the community that I had globally with the sales that came in after that. We released the video on Instagram and we got orders from all around the world as well as Kenya, and that was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, these people are paying attention. And it was so exciting and has been the catalyst for 4 other collections that we've done since 2020 and working on one that will come out in 2023. My other highlights, there's been so many highlights that I don't even know where to start. From traveling to some of the places that are on my bucket list or on my saved Pinterest around Kenya has been really exciting. The first time I was able to have a partnership abroad, it was really nerve-wracking because I think sent out 30 emails to all these different places, reaching out saying, hey, we are content creators coming. I was traveling to Dubai then, and it was just the first trip after COVID, and I was really excited to be able to leave the country again. So we emailed, and only one resort came back, and that was the Park Hyatt. And that was really exciting to be able to work with such an established property and it being a different country, and just it kind of made me realize that you can think big and that's okay, and you'll try, you'll get a lot of no's, but there will be that one yes that will be the next stepping stone to the next place. One of the biggest things I've learned, or lessons that I've learned from my journey, has been consistency and perseverance. Just because it seems like it's easy to everybody on the outside, it really isn't. And having to make sure you wake up every day. When you're, self-managing, you can decide you want to sleep all day and not do anything. But if you just put in that little effort every day, you'll see the result. And some days will be really tough, and there'll be periods where you're not working with brands, or it's kind of a low season for you. But if you just keep going on, if you just, you know why you're there, then it'll kind of work out. Oh, definitely, there are times where I've misplaced it. There was once that we lost an entire hard drive from an entire trip. So all the footage was gone. It was terrible, but also kind of made you realize that it's not all about the footage that you got. It was a fun experience for all of us, and those are the memories that we have. But it was frustrating that we lost an entire hard drive. What I live by and what I have lived by is just being bold and kind of going after what you want. Being petite as I am, I feel like, being in school, you had to, if you wanted to be noticed, you had to kind of raise your voice a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be raising your voice, but in the way that you carry out your work, and being bold in the way that you are, diligent and consistent with your work and stand behind your work. That's what I would say, and then going after what you want. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't so sure from a young age what I wanted to do. I don't think I would be where I am today. Most recently, to enhance my craft and knowledge, I like surrounding myself with people who are more skilled in that area than I am. So one thing that I wanted to do kind of post-pandemic 2021 was really hone in on my own camera skills, that I'm able to be okay if I was, if I didn't have a photographer with me, I know my way around a camera. So then it happened that I did a lot of trips with friends who are all brilliant photographers, and kind of picked up a thing or two from every one of them. So just surrounding yourself with people that are committed to what they do, and if that's something that you'd like to learn, you're kind of around them and you absorb it in, a really fun way because they are your friends. I really would like to get a mentor. It is a place, this industry is, very new, so there are a few people who've done it a little longer, but there's not somebody that you can say, oh yeah, they've been doing it for 20 years and I'd like to learn from them. But I am looking for a mentor, and I'd love to mentor as well and just share my journey with others. I think millennials go wrong when pursuing their dreams by really not going after what they want. I think a lot of us are still driven by what our parents think, what our communities think. There's still those very kind of traditional career paths that we're expected to take. But I think if we're just able to step out and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to work hard to do it. I'm not just saying I'm going to do it, I will do it. I think we'll all be a little happier. I would say if you are wanting to kind of be in this creative space, just knowing that it isn't easy, that there is a lot of hard work that goes, in the background, and that it is possible to make this a career and make this the thing that you do, and that you're proud to say, hey, I'm a content creator, or hey, I'm in the fashion industry. I would say whatever you want to do, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that that isn't what you're supposed to do. If you're called to do something, do it. And on that note, you can follow me on Instagram at Hali Oduor, and every other platform, I think, is just at Hali Oduor.